All right. We'll start Cincinnati versus Red Bull for both of us. We both picked the same one there. So give me an idea of what you think is going to happen.
I mean, I think FCC wins. I'll just tell you right off the bat. I think Red Bull were lucky to make the playoffs, as you were talking about. I think the magic runs out against a real team like FCC, a team that is 13-2-2 at home. FCC is playing 2 out of the 3 games at home. I don't care what kind of team Red Bull looks like on the road. A team that's able to get 13 wins at home in the regular season is just going to be almost impossible to beat, even in the playoffs. So, form wise, Red Bull have the better record, but FCC are still pretty strong form coming in. 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. And head to head has been tight, but FCC have got 2 wins over Red Bull's 1. No home wins, I believe, or no regular time home wins, I believe, for either team. Both teams won on the road, and then FCC won in penalties in the U.S. Open Cup. But I think that home record is just going to be too much for Red Bull to overcome. And I think Red Bull are not a strong home team. FCC are decent away, 7-3-7. They actually just don't lose much on the road. So I think SEC comes in and sweeps Red Bull.
I got something for you.
Yeah.
It's your bottle of haterade.
Oh yeah. Thanks for finding
Yeah.
that for me.
So I got it for you because here's
I
what's
am
going
a
to actually
massive Red Bull
happen.
hater.
Here's what's going to happen. All right. 2022 MLS Cup playoffs. They beat us at our home turf after um, Lewis Morgan scored a screamer and then hurt himself celebrating and had to be removed. And then we got torched. 2023 U.S. Open Cup. Lost on penalties. It's revenge season. It's comeback season. And the boys are absolutely buzzing because Tom Barlow scored a goal in the last 3 games, which means we cannot be stopped. 3 wins in our last 3. As I mentioned in the last segment, I guess you could call it, getting draws is super important here. And if there's one thing that Red Bull know how to do, it's defend. Out of all the teams that have made the playoffs this year, only one team has, in the Eastern Conference, I'll just keep it at that, has conceded less goals than us. And it's the team we beat this weekend, Nashville. Cincinnati has given up the same amount of goals as we have. So has Orlando. Everybody else has conceded more. Red Bull are going to Red Bull the heck out of this series, and they are going to sit down, defend like their life depends on it, play either for counterattack wins or penalties. And I think that they get through on penalties. So I'm taking Red Bull to get their revenge
You're
in the
insane.
first round because the other thing, number 1 seeds do not do well in the playoffs.
Yeah,
They
because they had a bye
outside of
previously.
LAFC last year, the last team to win the Shield and the Cup double happened in like 2011? Question mark? Uh, LA's Cup. Let's do a quick check here. Team also won Supporters Shield. Sorry, 2017, the treble team. That of course, and before that it was 2011. So it's not a common trend. Those teams do not find success in the MLS Cup playoffs, regardless of the setup, right? I know you just made a little comment about the buy or whatever. Don't care, didn't ask. When teams win the Shield, they don't, because the system is not set up to reward the best teams. We know this. I've made this comment ever since we started this podcast 3 years ago. This MLS Cup playoff never, ever, ever rewards the teams that deserve it, outside of very rare occasions. I mean, 2021, Portland versus New York City, they were both like 6 seeds, right? Like you're very rarely going to find success there unless you're a very, very, very lucky team. And I think that their luck has run out. It's Red Bull season. Give me the Red Bulls over FCC. And then just hook it right to my veins, you know?
I feel like you have this very strong sense that all these lower seed teams can just go in, park the bus, defend across a best of 3 series, and then just win every time in penalties.
I
I
didn't say
just
every
think
team.
that's
I picked
unrealistic.
I picked St. Louis and I picked Houston. What do you mean every lower
You
seed team?
picked 3 lower seeds so far to win, and I feel like every single time has been on the conversation of I think they can win it in penalties, assuming that they can just bunker down, get to penalties, and then just win all their games like through penalties and parking the bus. When I
Sorry,
think
did you
that's
not
just
say the same
highly
thing about
unrealistic.
Seattle? Did you not say the same thing about Seattle?
I
Saying,
said
"Oh,
okay. I
I
said
think
about
they
one
can."
team. I said
Oh my
about
God!
one
Now
team.
now we're playing. Now we're playing. If it works for me, I didn't ask. I don't care. Red Bulls to the moon. Get wrecked, nerd.
Well, I don't want to say anything because I know the podcast jinx, and I'm not trying to put that on FCC. So
Take
I'm going
the
to leave it
bait.
at that.
Take the bait.
Nope, I'm leaving it at that.
All right, let's move on then before I continue to put you in your place. I'm also manifesting that at some point I can get home and go to one of these playoff games because Red Bull's not going to sell out. So if Red Bull can guarantee themselves a playoff game in early November, I can make a trip and do it. So manifest with me.
Yeah.
Um,
I will. That would be fantastic to have you go watch them get knocked out
you
live in front
you'll
of me.
come with me, of course.
Oh no, no chance.
No, you definitely will. You, me, Matt, and Pops. We'll all go as a crew. We'll get Jason involved too. 5 of us. We'll be a quarter of the fan support.
We really will. We'll be all the fan support. What do you mean?
Oh man. All right, mark it in your calendars. We're gonna do it.